Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 43 of Egginburgh, our Cities 2 launch builder. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I got to play the UK pack last time, which was an awful lot of fun. I did also ask you guys for some name suggestions. Now, the district actually also named to Thornton Springs, which sounds very UK already. But the wonderful Joshinio, who has given us name suggestions before, suggested Yorkshire, which is perfect for the UK egg build, isn't it? So we'll certainly expand this area as we continue to grow out this side of the map, however. Today, with the recent release of the Modern Architecture Pack, I really want to use these buildings in today's episode. And I'm thinking we're going to do some road renovation, not today's episode. Over here, I'm going to crack open this roundabout and develop the networks to pass under here, probably developing a new interchange around these networks here. But I don't really want to put the modern architecture stuff all the way out here. I think it's really going to suit kind of an inner city development. And there's some kind of awkward vanilla space around the art gallery here, which is a super important building. And there's buildings that have collapsed over here. There's lots of this nasty greenness in between because it's all zoned. And it just looks crap. So we're going to complement this area with some modern architecture buildings today. So let's rip out everything from this large city park, pretty much up to this apartment block. And then we can build ourselves a brand new modern architecture inner city office park, shall we? Super. So it's gone, and this is going to give us a really interesting downtown space to work with. The terrain around here is pretty gnarly, which I think is actually going to work in our favour, because we're going to be able to use a lot of the kind of cut and fill features to work in some more modern infrastructure to work with the new pack, I think. Exodus of people leaving the city now, of course, that's absolutely fine. They will hopefully move away from the pavements. we'll wait and see. They did disperse from the other areas we renovated around. Actually, did they? Let me check that. Now it's been a few episodes. We, of course, deleted a load of assets around the German area when we renovated this a few episodes ago. And they do seem to have cleared off as time has gone on. So I'm hoping. How about the French area? There's quite a lot down there as well, wasn't there? You can find them. Yeah, they've all moved on. They were all clustered around here, weren't they? And again, there is maybe still a few. Are you homeless? You are. It's fine. It's fine. They will eventually go away. So let's start our build today. So I am very interested in a lot of these assets. They're very cool. There is a full video on the channel. Checking them all out if you haven't seen them. So I'm going to filter for the modern architecture pack here. And let's start filtering through what we want to place down here. So I know one asset I want to use immediately, and this is going to be the tourist attraction of the Modern Art Museum. I think this is going to go just so nicely opposite from the art gallery itself. I'm going to be very particular about how I want this asset positioned. You know, when you just load into CS and you know what you want something to look like. Yeah, I want that staircase exposed to the street corner. I think that's going to be fantastic. Going to be a super cool inner city asset, that, isn't it? Well, we can see through the middle of it as well. Again, just wonderful. Richard has done a fantastic job with these assets. Super beautiful. And we spoke about even expanding some of this stuff out as well. So maybe we can use some of the modern city plazas next to this, actually. Yeah, so while we are remembering them, let's come into large parks. So there's a couple of them. There's Community City Park. And then there's the Grand City Plaza. Jesus, this is huge, isn't it? Holy smokes. This won't even fit here. Damn. How big is this? Let's turn on Anarchy and just see what happens here. Yeah, that is a huge old chungus, isn't it? That's absolutely enormous. Didn't realise how big this asset was in the showcase. But now I do. I realise the depth of it. I mean, even with Anarchy, that's not horrendous, is it? That isn't horrific. Can we get away with it? How badly is it clipped here? Yeah, there's a little bit going on there, isn't there? Just a little bit of clipping. Although I do wonder, if I just clip off these sub-elements, can we get away with that? We set it to be the same height as our museum. Yeah, we do slope down there. But I honestly think that's okay. I'm desperately trying to justify it because I think it looks so cool. at the foreground of all this infrastructure around here, doesn't it? And then the slope down here is alright. That's just like a regular concrete slope, right? You could always turn it into a key wall as well. That would work. But I kind of don't mind it like that, to be honest. So the second asset from this pack I'm a huge lover of is the Modern Technical University, which I'd love to include. And we could actually bring this here. Yeah, I think we will. I do like the Grand Central Plaza, but it's just not meant for that space, is it? However, the Modern Technical University very well could be. So let's place this in. So again, super nice asset. And I want to add some of the upgrades onto this. Pretty much all of them actually, because I really want the building to just chunk out a little bit. We probably don't need the expansion, and we don't need the lecture hall right now. Although we could possibly use you guys actually away. Now, do we actually have the ability to snap these away from the buildings? Doesn't look like that's been added yet, has it not? Possibly not. Let's assume not then, because it doesn't seem like it'll work. But I think having this here is a much more appropriate position than the other plaza, isn't it? Very similar vibe, matching up to that museum too. Then of course we're getting that big viewpoint again too. You should even see, yeah, the little Korean temple on top of the hill there in the park we did. That's a very cool little sightline. Just with masses of homeless now stood lining the streets. May have to turn Bye Bye Homeless back on today. We'll see. And then with this here, this should just be quite a seamless little joining of services. If we just grab our service tool, I'd just like to extend you down here, as if that is some walkable connection. And I think some tree lines and perhaps some extra extended pathways where it would make sense. Just where you would expect people to walk, really. I think we can probably get away with it. And let's bring in some trees there as well, where we have these sorts of spaces. Something quite fancy here. How about a palm, maybe? We don't tend to use the palms all that much in Egginburgh, do we? Although it's not at all a tropical city. How about some classic Palavan pines then? Just something like this. That should make that transition a bit more seamless, I think. Yeah, just those extended textures down into those gateways make a big difference, don't they? You can walk down into the car parking or into the wider section of the campus itself. Know how much better does that look for a city centre as well than what we had here before? Big fan of that. Yes, please, everyone. Wonderful news. How does that affect our education demands? University is rocketed up. We've got tons of university capacity. Of course, there was a patch recently, wasn't there, that changed the capacities finally. So I'd like to keep combining these modern architecture buildings almost as if they're kind of part of the same continuous campus. The next asset I want to put down is the Citizen Service Centre. Let's have a look at this. And we're going to start cutting into the weird terrain around here, so we want to be careful. How about we face it onto this road over here? And that should be a great partner asset with the museum, shouldn't it? And I've walked down this staircase out onto the street where we'll expand a lot of detailing out this way. For it to then walk right out there, and I reckon that is almost kind of a pretty much a perfect alignment there for some detail, is it? Should we have a little look? Let's bring this one straight down 180 degrees. Down to there. And then the same with this one. And that should give us that perfect pathway. And we also add a pedestrian crossing in there as well. Where is the node? There. Let's just bring that a little bit closer then. Something like that. I'm just moving the node to disperse the homeless. It doesn't know. That's okay though. Kind of want to add you to be the same height as the building. Whoa. Are you okay? What the hell is that? Why has it done that? That was not my intention. We'll deal with that in a second. Actually, we need to deal with that now. Because that is not what I wanted to happen. In fact, we'll just redraw this entire road. Let's have a look at our terrain around here. tell you what, yeah, let's actually make this building the same height as the museum. I'm just doing Control and H with Move It to do that, by the way. Which is a nice, easy shortcut to bring everything onto the same playing field. Yeah, so just level that out, and then we'll slope up from here to here. There we go. That should be a little bit more sensible for what I was after. Don't know if our road guideline snapping here too. In that there, and then that can just go straight up. Perfect. So my initial concept here was just to add in the pedestrian crossing before the roads absolutely lost their minds. If I can just add in a very temporary node there, just add in the pedestrian crossing, and then just bring that back in line with the building there. Cool. Which should really help with making it look like it is all part of that shared campus that we're going for today. There'll probably be, actually, some of the office signatures which we haven't placed. Well, we've not placed all. We placed a few of them, haven't we? Which ones are we missing? Yeah, it wants 12,000 cells of high density office. We're definitely not going to get that. So we can just place it with Find It, but I reckon they might look quite nice around here. We'll remember to have a look at them at some point today. But either way, I like that. I think that's quite tasty. So now we're starting to come into this tiering system. We really want to be careful as to how the rest of the build develops, because it can threaten to get quite ugly quite quickly. So continuing to use our modern architecture stuff, I wouldn't mind placing down the elementary school next, which we do need some elementary demand actually very nearly, so that'll be quite useful. Also got the firehouse. A lot of these are quite small though, we'll be able to work them in at some point. And then there is also the modern city hall as well, which we might take a look at. Either way, let's address the terrain around here. So we want to be careful with what's going on. I'm thinking here, I'm probably going to want key wall on the left-hand side of the road. How is that actually going to look against the asset? We don't make sure it doesn't really ruin it. And that connection there kind of becomes a bit more redundant, doesn't it? But I can live with that. I can live with that. And then we'll keep it coming down the left and then bring it down into this one. Okay, so just messing with a few of the nodes around the edge with Move It. I think just kind of enjoying this from the street view here. I think I can appreciate that little key wall behind the building. We do have some sloping here. Well, there's a lot of garbage in that parking spot, isn't there? Yeah, I think it is just the unfortunate side effect of playing with terrain, isn't it? But we can make it work. We can make it work. So let's grab the terrain height around there and then just flatten out a new layer that we can place another asset on. So this will begin essentially the tiering system for this bit of the city. And we can push that up. It's actually going to join pretty naturally back with the height here, which is quite helpful. And then we'll just push all this back temporarily and blend that in once we know what's happening. Cool. So let's turn off those upgrades. We just want to be forced to ground here. So let's set up our new road round this way. Should be a very simple connection into there. The road doesn't want to do some weird jank like it does want to. Don't know what's up with the roads recently. It is slightly irritating to play with. There we go. That one seems a bit better, doesn't it? Yeah, that's much more usable. And then let's place in our secondary asset here, which is going to be, I think I want it to be the modern city hall. And I think I know exactly how I want the assets to look here. So I think we're going to align with, again, the key wall on the left side to look like this, which is going to be a little bit over-engineered for the time being, but please do bear with it. And once you've got that, we can push all that down to expose the key wall. Get lots of detailing in here as well during our time lapse today. I suppose it only needs to be key wall up at the front really, doesn't it? I probably am over-engineering that section. Let me upgrade that as well to be non-key wall. Let's just have the key wall at the front. Then let's place down our modern city hall. And have this about there. And let's just see how that settles into the wider kind of more modern campus. Don't mind it. Has it got upgrades on it? It does have one, which will add. Do we want to do anything with this as well? No, we can't with the service center, can we? That's okay. Yeah, but we won't have any services for right now. That's okay, though. But I think I like that, actually. I think I do like it. I'm really liking how the tiers are starting to kick in as well. I think they're really going to add quite a lot to the build. Yeah, especially this perspective right here is pretty special, isn't it? I'm enjoying that. Cool, so let's connect that in. That'll give it its services. I think we'll wrap a road around it, and then how do we want to handle the connection here? We're going to upgrade a smaller segment of keyboard. Or should we do it all the way along? Yeah, I think we will. And then with this, let's just do a little curve connection. I think should work quite nicely there, right? I'm happy with that. We've got kind of 4 major buildings in now, all very much in this modern style. I would like to include some of the other services, so let's have a look at our little school. Here's the modern community college, which again is very nice. Maybe we'll have this on the next layer at a slight angle perhaps, maybe something like that. I think that might work tremendously. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though. Community elementary is also something else I want in here. Let's have a look at this. Bit of a smaller supplementary building to the rest of the campus here. But something that's equally as welcome. We'll also get the extension wing on this as well, make it a larger building. And honestly, that might just be alright as it is, I think. I think I'll set it down to the same height as the building, or actually maybe the same height as the node on the road. It's a difficult one, that, isn't it? So annoying playing with this erratic height, but it'll be worth it in the end, I think, because I think once we have all those little layers noticeable from the build, it should make a difference. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that as a corner asset. Again, I'm almost pretending this isn't a school, you know, like it's kind of part of this wider pretend office park almost, I think. But that should also give us slightly more elementary school demand. That's even not like it changed much at all. It is only 450 capacity though, to be fair. And then we do have the community playground as well, which I think is probably a little bit out of place around here. So we'll probably leave that upgrade, I think. And then around here, it actually looks like we've got that perfect opportunity again. Just to line up some new nodes with the pathways. And then extend them down. And do we actually have any invisible pedestrian path on these assets? Is there anywhere you can walk? No, it actually doesn't look like there is. So we can add our own in for sure. Let's run one. Let's turn off all our snapping here too. Yeah, there are people walking there. I'm surprised I can't see an invisible pedestrian pathway here. Which is fine. We'll just put our own in. There you go there. And that's actually snapped to geometry here as well. And then just run that across these surfaces so it all becomes much more alive. Let's also do the same thing here as well. Bring it up to the school. Up to the side. And then again around the back. So good, these invisible pathway assets. You can see people walking on them there. That's okay, but those invisible pathways should start to get picked up now, which will really bring this open plaza space to life quite a little bit. Pretty cool place to walk around, isn't it? I really like downtown Bourbon. It's a really cute little skyline. It'll continue to change as well. I think we'll replace some of these towers with the US Creator Around the World packs when they arrive. Probably, I think it's next year now, isn't it? Japan is the next one up for us. Wonderful, I'm happy with that. So let's have a look at that college, because that random little orientation we found was very nice. So there is also the modern university. I feel we have just placed a university, haven't we? I don't know. Let's place it down first of all. Egginburgh's got money to burn, just so we can check. Oh, that is a gorgeous asset, isn't it? I really like that one. Let's check out the college as well. Let's check out both. And then the modern community college is here. So I'm thinking with the road orientated that way, we can maybe have some kind of fancy viewpoint from here. Maybe wrap some pedestrian road around the back. Kind of have it angled toward this junction here with a view to the skyline behind, perhaps. I'm not averse to it. Oh, I don't know. I actually can't decide. I guess we do have the room for both. There's still more room over here for another asset. And with the upgrades on this one, we can add that one there. The college dorm, which I probably won't add. And then there's also the sports field, which we definitely won't add here. Okay, I think we're going to go with this one here then. So let's use move it and put him into position a little bit. We'll do, what would we like for terrain here? How bad are we sloped down? Yeah, there is still quite the descent there, isn't there? That's okay. Let's grab our roads. We'll do no upgrades here, just force to ground. And then you can just run basically into there is perfect. Will you work at that point? Yeah, that's exactly what I want. And then then just straight across there. You're gonna work? Yep, that seems to. Got a little bit of terrain jank through here. Let's push that down. Cool. So let's grab the same height as the college, and then we'll generate this new layer around here using the cut and fill stuff. Which, thank the Lord for cut and fill, right? I think we'd be lost without that. With this one, we can do a nice little detailed design out the front of here with some pathways and whatnot. And then let's snap to the back of the building. Do we want to do pedestrian through here? I think we probably will. Let's have that cut right through the back. Again, it's something we want keys on the left side though, so we'll do that as well. And then can I send you into this same large junction? Is that going to work? It seems to. We might be pushing this junction to its limit right now, but it should be okay. And then you can just go somewhere. Let's just send you off over the hills and far away right now. We'll probably place in some more buildings around here during our time lapse to enjoy the pedestrianisation. I wouldn't even mind having a little kind of snaky pedestrian road come down here, if we can factor that into the height layer. Guess we'll see. Guess we'll see. Let's see if it's possible. So with the slope tool, how about we go for something like that? And then just a little hill. That's hopefully not too intimidating. I don't want it to be this massive slope, really. So if we were to connect that in from here, get a little straight segment in first. And then can we just kind of weave up the top with continuous curve? Something like that. And then all around the edge of that where we terraform, just soften that back out. I think a little bit of bush lining, some trees following that. I think it'll be a nice way to factor in that height difference into the campus around it. Should be anyway, we'll see how that turns out. One more building I want to get in before we move into that detail in time lapse. Didn't have a look at some unique towers as well, didn't I? It would be the modern university. If we're going to place this in, let's have a look where we want to put this. I think at a slight angle is what I'm after here. I almost want this building to back onto that one there, yeah. See how the textures here are connecting to the road. That's kind of how I'm envisioning that to sit. Pretty happy with that. Yeah, look at that. That's really coming together now, isn't it? I love these assets. This is such a good content creator part, the modern architecture one. Really love these modern, chunky, cubey buildings. Definitely the sort of things you tend to see in city centres, aren't they? Wonderful. That's alright then. I'm pretty happy with that. Unfortunately, that junction's just a little bit short. We can't move that either. Otherwise, it changes the entire road hierarchy around here. That's fine though. I reckon we can blend it into the campus design itself. Let's do some sloping out the front of the building. Just to ease that out. A little bit of softening. And then we'll just have a little road comes down. Let's actually connect to the front of the building first. I actually wonder, can we make that one super wide junction? We can. That's pedestrian road though. I want to use regular road. How do we feel about that? It does work. Thank God for the inbuilt node controller. That only is possible because of that. If you can call it that, I suppose you can, can't you? And then does that make sense to go all the way through to the pedestrian mode? And just treat that as a crossing? Possibly. And then just bring maybe that node down a little bit. Okay, and I think we can fill the rest of the space around that with greenbelt, which I'm going to be happy with. Do we want to add any upgrades to this? Do we get an academy building, which we don't want to add? University library and then extension wing. We'll add the extension wing on. Just so we get the larger asset. I'm happy with that. This road's already looking so much more impressive, isn't it? Look at that. I really, really like that. Fantastic. So, but do we need more parking around here? Car parks are all pretty full. A lot of street parking. How about some underground parking, actually? I bet that would probably work quite nicely with these assets, wouldn't it? I don't think I've ever used this building before. The underground parking one. Holy smokes. You guys alright? Homeless. Yeah. Homeless, say. God, it's like the Skid Row down here, isn't it? Hopefully they'll go away before we start detailing. We could place a tower on top of them. Let's have a look at some signatures. I'm quite keen to have a look at these. Let's turn off our filters as well for DLC. So there's things like the Stylus Tower. That's absolutely enormous, isn't it? And then there's the waterfall array, which is... I don't know. I've never seen these assets before. It's quite tall, isn't it? It's also got a lot around the base of it. I do like this building. It's very nice, although don't think I want it right here. I think we might actually delete this elementary school. Because we've got plenty of elementary demand right now, and this is a pretty central location where the vibe's started to change around, so I don't really want that old school, kind of red roof school here anymore. So how about we just have the waterfall array sit as part of this campus just across the other side of the street. I think that's pretty welcome, isn't it? I'm happy with that. And then that last bit we talked about before we move into a detail in time-lapse, let's have a look at the underground parking building. Yeah, where do we want to have you? I feel like you would be appropriate here, wouldn't you? How about there? That way it actually kind of looks like it's heading underground a bit, doesn't it? Although there's a fair amount of key work to do around here. But otherwise, I think that leaves us a good place for a detail in time-lapse. Lots of green belt to decorate up. Relaxation spaces for this tech hub campus, I guess is what we're going to call it, right? In the city centre. Landscaping, car parking, and terrain jank to arrange and sort out. I'm also not forgetting to delete this building over here. Which should be a lot of fun, setting in these new assets. So let's do some detailing for Downtown Bourbon's brand new additions, which look wonderful from this part, don't they? I really like that. And then we'll be right back. Right guys, let's have a little detailed review around our modern architecture campus, shall we? Lots of detailing with landscaping at the front of the community college, as we have rocks, pathways, bushes, a little bit of parking. Tucked into it over here with Move It, which is a nice little arrangement. People walking around this as well, and I love how this sits next to our little Korean temple, which has such a cool sightline, especially now with all these modern buildings in the way, rather than those crap zoned apartment blocks we had. Heading down the greenbelt, the pathway swoops around, splits off this way to join up nicely with the entrance to the City Hall up this way, and then comes off down this way towards underground car parking, and then back toward the main road where our university is tucked in. Still maintaining a wonderful sightline down towards the art gallery, of course. That's a real key feature of this area. And we've also named the hospital here, which was added during the detailing time lapse, into the Adarin Medical Center. Thank you to Adarin for helping with some inspiration in the Discord this morning when I was looking for some just general inspo. He sent me a ladder fence in Paris, which was very cool. Kind of positioning for these buildings, so thank you for that help, mate. I do appreciate you in the Discord. Links down below if you want to come and join us over there. Heading down the main road, I really love this kind of concrete pathway in amongst all these tall buildings. It makes it look super modern, doesn't it? And of course, all those invisible pedestrian pathways now getting a fair bit of use, which is wonderful to see. People walking in all different directions with bush linings, benches, bins around here as well. Well, so a little bit of palm action, which we never use the palms in Egginburgh, so I thought, while we're going very heavily landscaped around some cool buildings, now would be the time to use a palm, with some appropriate fencing on the street corner. Also ended up dropping in the Stylus Tower as well, which is a real nice skyscraper, isn't it? Super cool. Very modern and blends in really nicely with our modern architecture over here. Also dropped in the high school over here as well, which has had another custom car park dropped around the back, with one of its upgrades extended out with a pedestrian pathway back down toward the City Hall. And then all this wraps around. We've got some custom car parking spaces between the towers, which are filled up quite nicely. And then a little bit of tree work around here. And these towers look great as well from the Central Park that we built absolutely ages ago. So I mentioned it in this episode. I think when the US parks, East and West Coast, get released, we'll upgrade a lot of the buildings around the edge of Central Park with them, because the more custom assets we get from the creators around the world packs and the content creator packs, the more I come to not like these. So we'll get rid of these giant cuboid-esque buildings around the Central Park, I think, once we do get those US creator packs. That'll upgrade a lot of this skyline around here too. But a really nice addition and a much more improved visual around here, isn't it? Really like it. And people all walking around the forecourts here, of course, those pedestrian pathways connecting back to the big concrete belt over there. And yeah, big fan of it. I really like this content creator pack. I'd highly recommend it if you're looking for some more CS2 asset variation. You can't go wrong with the modern architecture stuff. But otherwise, let's thank you all so much for watching. A massive shout out to the patrons that support the channel, with a special roll call to our golden eggs, Andrew Perez, Louis Adlam, Oh Hey Casino, and Phoenix MD. If you'd like to get involved in that, there are links down below to Patreon and Instant Gaming, where you can help support the channel and get a little bit more out of it as well. If you want, we just had a podcast with $2.20 over on the Patreon as well. So if you want to listen to that, head over and check it out. Otherwise, let me know what you're thinking of these new content creator packs. I'm a huge fan of the modern architecture, and we'll definitely find a place in Egginburgh to work in the urban promenades at some point as well. As I mentioned at the start of the episode, I want to head over to that kind of dead-end road near the big national highways and really open up the road network around there for future developments. And of course, the Japan pack is very nearly upon us, so expect some Japanese themed builds in Egginburgh. We can possibly work that in alongside Kokai as well. But otherwise, please do enjoy today's cinematics of the new additions to downtown Bourbon Bottle Shop and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.